Dear readers, today we have Mary Wu, and we are very lucky to have her. She's a nutritionist, a weight management specialist, and specifically specialized in the very proactive or very pragmatic connection between nutrition and autism. And personally, she is also going to be a teacher, and she is working as an HR manager. So many hats, and everything is so connected to overall human well-being. So let us start the conversation with this multi-talented person, and first ask the person. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much for actually having me here and giving me a voice with regards to what I do. I'm so grateful for that.
In Magazica, we believe that people and expert and totally have a philanthropic personality that you have. You must have a voice. So can you tell our readers to start the conversation that a bit of your background and what led you to become a nutritionist, a weight management specialist, HR manager, and specifically nutrition in connection with autism, please.
I guess how did I become an HR manager is I'm really good at listening to people, So when I was working as an assistant, when I came to Canada, I remember people would always come to me and they would ask me for advice.
Oh.
And so I was actually pretty good at listening, and then I would give them some sound advice that sort of worked and they liked it. So that's when I thought is, I have this skill and this talent. Why not use it to good use and help more people with regards to HR? So that's how I actually got involved with HR. And I've been an HR manager now for 21 years. With regards to nutrition, I would say is I actually sort of stumbled by chance. So what had happened was around 8 years ago, I had actually started experiencing a lot of health challenges. I was having severe digestive issues and was in and out of doctor's office every month. I was getting sick on antibiotics, taking a lot of medication, and which completely messed up my gut health, And I was looking for a solution, and I was taking medication that I had to eat literally before every meal. So 30 minutes before every meal, I would take these 2 tablets just to keep the food down, because if I didn't, everything would come out. And I was getting fed up because I was on a very limited diet, couldn't eat a whole lot of things, and I had to rely on this medicine. And I remember talking to my doctor and saying, doctor, is there a natural way that I can take care of it? And doctor said, no, you have to take this medicine for the rest of your life. And I was like, oh my God, this medicine is not helping anyways, and I have to take it for the rest of my life. I'm really not looking forward to it. And right at that time too, my husband was diagnosed with cholesterol. He was on medication. And I guess the biggest thing that really got me to do something was really my son. So my son got diagnosed with autism, and he was really struggling. He was having short-term memory issues. He was having multiple meltdowns. He was crying, getting frustrated. And as a result, it was impacting me because I was experiencing extreme stress to the point that I was getting heart palpitations. And I had to literally run down to the basement and lock myself up so I could calm myself down, because I was thinking, if this goes on every day, I'm going to die of heart attack. That's all I was thinking. So I needed to find a solution. And even prior to that, I come from my mom had cancer, and my mother-in-law had ovarian cancer, and my father-in-law used to have high blood pressure and cholesterol, and then eventually had stroke. And, I saw what they went through. It was a lot of challenge, suffering. And, when you see your loved ones going through that, you just feel helpless because you don't know. You just follow whatever the medical system tells you. And unfortunately, all 3 of them passed away. And that also put a little fear in my mind, because I was thinking is, oh my God, my husband has cholesterol. I have these digestive issues. My children are young. What's going to happen to us? If we don't make any change in our life, most probably we are going to get one of those chronic health issues. So I started thinking is, let me be proactive rather than be reactive, and reach a point where we have those chronic illnesses. So what I did is, I started actually praying to God. I said, God, send me somebody. I don't know who this person is, but please send me somebody who can help me. And that person came in the form of a nutritionist. So one of our family members had actually worked with this nutritionist, and she had actually helped them. So she introduced her to me. And when she came, I don't know what nutritionists did. And I was actually pretty proactive in the sense I was doing a lot of research online, trying to sort of change our diet and everything, but it's still not working. So what I thought is, you know what? This nutritionist has helped my family member. I'm willing to talk to her. And if she's able to help me, I will go ahead and do that. So what we did is we made a decision that we are going to change whatever we need to change in our life, but as a family. So it's not going to be only me doing it. It's going to be me, my husband, and my 2 children, because we all need to be healthy, correct? And so we started our journey. And what I really loved about how the nutritionist worked with me was education. Because I don't know if you all experience that, is, when you go to the doctor's office, they're so busy. You'll be lucky to get 5 minutes with them. You go there, they ask you, what is your symptom? They write a prescription and you're out the door. But they never explain to you why you're having that health issue, whether there's a chance you can reverse it. So what was really amazing about working with a nutritionist was her explaining why I had those health issues, what I needed to do so that I could actually reverse it and lead a normal, optimal health life without, relying on medication. So I started that journey with her. She taught me how to sort of, change my diet, look at my lifestyle, which really is stress, sleep, exercise, even community. Like, you want to be with the positive community so that it doesn't, affect your stress levels. And then supplementation. So what we did is we started sort of implementing all the strategies that she taught us. And long story short, in 6 months' time, my digestive issues, along with my gut issues, got resolved. I was off the medication. And I'm happy to say it's been 8 years now. I haven't taken any medication. My husband, cholesterol sort of got resolved in a year's time. My husband has been able to maintain his cholesterol without any medication for 7 years. And my son is really thriving. Like, he used to have short-term memory issues. He used to have multiple meltdowns during the day. And he was struggling at school. Today, I'm happy to say he's 19 years old. He's actually in, a college, studying to be a massage therapist. So this is just a little bit of my story. But I actually did go back and study nutrition because I needed to understand how all this thing works, correct? And so after I studied nutrition, I realized, oh my God, there is so much knowledge that we need to share with people, because there are so many preventative measures you can put into place that can help you to not reach the point, hopefully, of those chronic illnesses. And so my goal then became is I need to start helping people, educate them first, and teach people to become proactive rather than reactive. Because unfortunately, a lot of people wait till something happens before they do something. Why not be proactive so that we can actually start taking care of ourselves? And I would look at nutrition as an investment. We invest in different things. We invest for a retirement, we invest in our children's education, but we never invest in our health. And we have to start thinking about that, because the investment today is going to pay off in the years to come. When you have good health, when you retire, you want to enjoy life. You don't want to be like having aches and pains on medication, can't do anything, correct? So we can have vitality, we can have optimal health, but it needs to start now, because unfortunately, I'm seeing more and more young people having those chronic illnesses. The illnesses that normally used to be illnesses of the old people are now in their 20s and 30s, correct? So, and we will talk about how nutrition can actually help with that. So sorry, it was a long-winded explanation, but I just wanted to share that that's my journey. And I am really, really passionate about health. And I really want to educate and teach people that they can make minor changes in their life and they can have actually major results from them.
Fantastic. As I was listening, so whenever our readers will read it, they will find it like really, really fascinating because while you were talking, the one thing that came into my mind is that it's we can terminalize it order out of chaos. It was a complete, you were in a complete, like a, we can say, a messy situation regarding health and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But by just being proactive, you made a complete order out of your chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And so little people can do it very passionately. And not only you did that, now you are helping others.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of mental strength, lot of resilience, lot of proactivity is there, and so many things to unpack here. Like nutritionist, I really like the word. It is about education. It is about diet, stress, sleep, exercise, community, and supplement if needed, and
Mm-hmm.
vitality and optimal health. So many things to unpack. So we will start with nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So in your experience, nutrition is a, basically, we can say one big part is healthy eating. What are the some of the biggest misconceptions people have about healthy eating? Then we will come to other areas that you have just touched upon.
Definitely.
Okay.
One is healthy eating seems to be boring. That's what people always say, you know.
I
So you
also
know
think
what?
that.
It doesn't need to be boring because the thing is that I always say is when you start your journey, think about what you're investing in, correct? And if you think about it as it's going to be boring, then that journey is going to be boring. But if you look at it as, you know what, whatever I'm going to do, whatever the changes I'm going to make is going to help me in the long run, it's going to be a different mindset and you're going to go into it with a different approach. So definitely 80% of your health has got to do with what you're eating. So exactly. And you know how people always say, oh, it's genetics. Like, you know, my parents had this health issue, I most probably will have. I won't say that's true because very few health issues are related to genetics. Most of them are actually lifestyle. And I can give you my own living example is my mom used to have high blood sugar. I'm 50, actually going to be 53 years old today. Not today, but in this month. And I don't have high blood sugar. Why? Because I've made the change in my life. The second misconception is sometimes people say, oh, is it too late? Am I too old to sort of do it? No. As long as you make the change, you are way ahead of a lot of people who haven't made that change. So every little change is going to make a big difference. And we are living in a society where we are very busy. That's another thing. I have no time. I have no time to cook. I'm just going to go to the grocery and buy something that is already made and put it into the microwave or put it in the toaster oven and heat it. But the thing is that we have to remember is we are living, there is a saying, is that longer the shelf life of a product, shorter is your shelf life. Why? Because every product that is sitting on the shelf that has a long shelf life has a lot of chemicals in it. Because take a box and just flip it over and look at the ingredients. We will read most probably the first 2 or 3 ingredients that we recognize, and the rest of it sounds like a chemical reaction or something because we have no clue what those things are. They're all some scientific names, and those are all chemicals. So the more we are ingesting those chemicals, we are obviously hurting our body. And you know what? I am not judging anybody. The reason being, I did all those things myself because I'm a busy mom. You know, you can see I was doing so many things, trying to raise 2 children without any help and, working a full-time job. I mean, we all go through those challenges. And that's the price we paid when our health went bad, you know? So the first thing we have to do is we have to really start looking at what are we putting inside. And I will tell you something, is the foods that I thought that were healthy were really not healthy because they were marketed that way. I remember I used to buy a lot of those boxed lunches that would say they are really healthy, and I would bring them home and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to give these to my children. And then I started realizing when I became a nutritionist is those are not healthy too, you know? So the thing is that the most healthiest foods that you're going to have is going to be from what you make at home, you know? And we have to go back to the basics. We don't have to make something that is very difficult or complex to make. What I do with my clients is I give them very simple recipes to try, which doesn't take very long to do. And that way you can make them really quickly, you know? And even like, I know some people will say, I don't have the time. Do the prep work on the days that you're off. Like, so I do most of my cooking on the weekends when I'm off, and I'll do bulk cooking. And what I do is I freeze them in glass containers, and I put them in the freezer, correct? With the portion. So don't put it in plastic, but put it in glass containers, because they, at least, because the plastic normally seeps into the food, correct? When you heat it. So I put it in glass containers. And this way, whenever you are busy, you don't have the time to cook, you can always take out the food, put it into the fridge, defrost it over there, and then you can heat it up and you can eat it. And at least you know that it's something that you have cooked and not something that you bought. And even if you buy, I always say go to a proper restaurant. You can order like protein, you can order like, vegetables, you can, those kind of things. And I will tell you like what are the foods you can focus on. But it's just simple things. You don't have to do something that is too complicated. Like even with salads, I sometimes pre-cut the salad and put it in the fridge so that when I don't have time, I can grab it and I can make my salads really quickly. Or I will pre-boil like eggs. They're really good forms of protein. I will pre-boil them and put it in the fridge. And then if I need it, I just can grab them and I can eat it. Like, having vegetable sticks and all that stuff in your fridge. So you can always pre-do things so that, this way you don't have to sort of, take too much of time to cook. Like you can marinate your meats and put it in the freezer, and whenever you need it, you just take it out and you just cook, So there are lots of simple tips that you can incorporate into your life, and you will start to notice is something that you cook and eat yourself as compared to buying something in the box. The taste is so different and the nutrients are going to be so different.
Fantastic. So many things I get to know, because glass container is a thing, pre-boiling is a thing, vegetable sticks, marinate meats. It's a fantastic thing. You can also marinate fish, like the
Fish,
fillet.
yeah, you can, but sometimes what it is with fish is, the way it is, it's better to do fresh,
It's better to do
So,
fresh.
yeah, fresh. But
Okay.
with meats, definitely you can pre-marinate. I always pre-marinate them because actually the marinade goes inside the meats too much better. So when you cook it, it's more aromatic, right? And that's where, food doesn't need to be boring. You can actually make it interesting. And that's another thing that I do in my practice is I don't tell people you need to cook because I know I work with a lot of different ethnic groups and everybody cooks and eats different foods. So what I just do is I look at what they're cooking and eating, and I'll just make certain tweaks to that to make it healthy. And now they can eat the same kind of foods, they can enjoy the ethnic food, but now it's more healthier. So you don't have to completely change the way you eat, but you can just make minor tweaks. And using spices is so nice because spices have a lot of antioxidants in them, correct? And just spicing your food can actually enhance your the aroma of the food, the taste of the food, so it becomes more interesting. So I always tell my clients is try new spices and ingredients so that you can increase the range of what you're eating.
Fantastic. Kitchen strategy can be also inclusivity and diversity.
Exactly. It is. It has to be because I've
Yeah.
had cases where, clients have come to me, they worked with somebody else and they've told them to eat something that they normally don't eat. And so what happens is they come in and they're like, I'm so bored eating this food. I don't enjoy it. And I don't feel like I'm getting the benefit of it. So it's always easier to see what they are eating and just say, okay, if you can make certain changes over here, then you can actually get the benefit of whatever you were originally cooking, and that way people don't feel like I have to completely change my life. I'm just making certain minor changes into whatever I'm doing already. And that way you get a better buy-in from people to make those changes as compared to, you have to do a 360-degree change, which is very difficult for a lot of people.
You have already touched upon the next question in various ways, but still, I will ask it for the readers' sake. So our readers are, some of them, and probably most of them, have very busy schedule. So what are some simple time savings tips to incorporate healthy meals into their daily routines? Like very simple.
Definitely. So one, as I said, is that you can do bulk cooking on the weekend. So go and do your grocery shopping. so that you can do your bulk cooking. The other thing you can do is, so say for instance, you buy, I'm just giving an example like meat, okay? And you can do portion too. So you can actually like already chop the meat and all that stuff and put it into like small Ziploc bags and freeze it. So this way, when you need to cook, you just literally are taking that small bag and you're cooking it with the meat, correct? So that you're not doing a lot of like prep work. The other thing is make sure that if you're defrosting in the morning, get up, defrost the food in the fridge so that by the time it comes, it's already fully defrosted. Another way is, I don't know if people know, is it's like crock pot cooking, you know? So that's very easy because crock pot cooking is actually very healthy. You can actually put the food that whatever you want to cook in the morning in the crock pot, and by the time you come back in the evening, the food is already ready. And what is great is cooked at low heat, so it actually maintains the integrity of the nutrients, plus all the juices and everything remains in the pot. And this way you can, make a really nice, tasty dish and you can actually eat it. So that's one of the things that is really helpful for busy professionals. The other thing you can do is the previous night, you can always, like if you're taking food to work, like you're taking your lunch and all that stuff, you always have leftovers, correct? So why don't you pack those leftovers in the night so that in the morning when you're in a rush, you can actually grab them and you can go. Another thing is you can have smoothies. Smoothies are actually really nutritious too for like breakfast. Like if you don't have time to sort of, make a healthy breakfast, you can really quickly make a smoothie, whether it's a fruit smoothie, whether it's a vegetable smoothie, and you can add some protein powder in it, and it'll give you all the nutrients that you need. And this way, you can actually have a nutritious breakfast as compared to grabbing like a muffin or bagels, which are not healthy for your diet, correct? And I always recommend is putting some ginger in it because it's an antioxidant. So it actually helps you with your health. So you can make like a green smoothie, whether you can put cucumbers, you can put green apples, you can put kale, you can put what else is there? A spinach, those, and you can even add some like nice frozen berries. I recommend having frozen fruits and vegetables in your freezer. People have this misconception that they are not as nutritious as the fresh one, but I will tell you, the frozen foods are much more nutritious than the fresh one. I'll tell you why. So what happens with the fresh food is, if you notice, is coming from another country, correct? So when they pluck them, they have to be raw because by the time they ship it to Canada, it will start to ripen, correct? And so that's by doing that, what happens is the nutrients in the food is not enough. So when you're eating it, you're thinking I'm having really fresh stuff, but it's really not giving you enough nutrients because it's already deficient in the nutrient because of it's not ripened properly. So one tip is when you get, say, I get tomatoes and fruits, I always put it in the kitchen near the window where the sun comes. So let the sun ripen those fruits and vegetables, and you will notice there is a different taste when you eat them, So with the frozen fruits, how it works is they go through the full life cycle. They pluck them only when they are ripe, okay? And then they take it and then they snow or cold blast it and then they freeze it. So you can see is those have more nutrients than the fresh food. So you can buy like frozen berries, you can buy frozen vegetables and you can cook it. So this way it's in the freezer. Whenever you need it, you can just take it out and you can cook it and eat it. So I'm just giving you some simple tips of things that you can do that can make your life much easier.
Oh, fantastic. I'm already having a paradigm shift regarding frozen vegetables and frozen fruits. Nobody explained it this nicely to me.
Yeah.
So there are so many, very quickly, there are so many, then we will go to the wet management. So there are so many conflicting information online. So how can people, now they know you and now they will have access to you and everything. But how can readers identify reliable source for accurate information regarding health and nutrition? Is there any?
So I guess the first person is definitely like people like us, because obviously we have the education, we have the experience, and we can sort of guide you through the journey. But if you want to do research, there are a few sites. There is Canada Food Guide. That can be the starting point where, people can go. They actually even show you like, what kind of plate you need to be eating. So you have a better visual representation of what that food looks like. There is a site called unlockedfood.ca. It gives a lot of information about nutrition. There is another one which is called Half Your Plate. Again, it gives you a lot of information about, what to eat. And then you have various like, organizations like Diabetes Canada, Heart and Stroke, like, Obesity Canada. There is even National Eating Disorder Information Center. So there are a lot of these organizations that also put out information with regards to what you can focus on. So I would say you can start with that. And if you want to go more into deeper, there's WebMed, there is Mayo Clinic. So there are different like, reputable sites that you can actually go and review to sort of get that information. Just be careful as to what are the sites you see, because you want to make sure that the person who's writing those articles are credible, because nowadays, unfortunately, anybody and everybody can put up anything online and you don't know if it's credible.
Yeah. This next question is very quickly, then we will go with the connection between autism and nutrition. So for someone who's looking to lose weight
Yeah,
healthily, in a healthy way,
yeah.
without losing the level of energy, without losing the vitality, what are some key principles they should focus on beyond just calorie restriction?
Yeah. You know what? It doesn't work that way with just calorie restriction. The reason being is I personally used to be a person who has struggled with my weight my entire life. I used to be that chubby kid, and my doctor used to always say, eat less, exercise more, you lose weight. I did that, didn't lose any weight. So one thing I would say is if you are looking at weight, don't look at it just in silo, because there are so many reasons why people gain weight. And I think that's what people don't understand. So what we have done in our practice is that we look at the root cause of why somebody is gaining weight, because there are lots of reasons. It can be stress. It can be you're not sleeping very well. Obviously, it can be you're not eating the right kind of foods. You have a very sedentary lifestyle. You may have other health issues, like, you may be on medication that is causing you to gain weight, because when you take medications like birth control pill, you're gaining weight, right? You can be going through like perimenopause, menopause for women. Some people have PCOS, which is a condition
Polycystic
where,
ovary? Polycystic ovary syndrome?
yes, where you have a lot of like male, what do you say, hormones that is causing you to sort of gain weight, like, So there are and sometimes even digestive issues. People are having digestive issues, gut issues that is causing them to gain weight. So that's, now you can see is I've already named like 8 things that can cause people to gain weight. So the first and foremost thing we have to look at is what is the root cause that is causing someone to gain weight, and focus more on being healthy. Because what happens is when you start fixing those issues that you are experiencing, even things like insulin resistance, and that normally happens when people have diabetes, correct? So we have to first fix the health issue. And by fixing the health issue, what happens? Your weight automatically starts to go down, okay? Because we don't want to look at, because the misconception we have about weight management, and I've gone through that myself, it's not difficult to lose weight. It's difficult to maintain the weight afterwards, because what normally happens is people will always focus on, I need to lose 20 pounds, I need to lose 40 pounds, correct? And then when you reach that point, what happens? You say, oh, I've lost that weight now, and I can go back to whatever I was doing. But you cannot go back to what you were doing, because you're going to gain that weight again. So it's a lot about education, making the right choices. And again, it goes back to food. You need to make sure you're putting the right foods into your body so that you're getting the nutrient. Now, you did talk about energy, and I wanted to mention something about supplementation, because that's another misconception people have. Supplementation nowadays is actually, I would say, a requirement, not a luxury. And the reason being, if you really understand the word supplementation, it means to supplement, which means you eat a healthy diet, and whatever is missing from your body, you supplement with a supplement. The reason being, we want to fill in the gap so that your body has all the nutrients. And if your body has the right nutrients, your body will start to function effectively, right? And I'll explain to you why supplementation is important, because remember I talked about how the foods that we eat nowadays doesn't have all the nutrients. Let me give you some examples. If you actually go and search online, you will find this information. So it's not something new. There is a lot of soil deprivation that is happening. What does that mean? Previously, if you really talk to a farmer, if a farmer had a plot of land, they would split it into two. So half of the plot they would cultivate, and the second half they would just leave it barren. Why? They need the soil to I would say rejuvenate, if you would say. Okay, so this way it has the nutrients so that when we plant the seeds in the next growth cycle, then the soil has the nutrient that it needs. But nowadays, if you notice, there are very less farmers. There's more demand for food. What is happening? Now the farmers are using their entire plot every time. So once they harvest, they go back and plant the seeds again. The soil doesn't get any opportunity to rejuvenate, and as a result, it's starting to lose the nutrients. So that's the first thing. So as a result, if you go and look at data, you will start to notice is the foods, even though they look really nice, they're losing the nutrients. Like previously, you would eat one apple and you would get all the nutrient of that one apple. Today, you have to eat 26 apples to get the nutrient of that one apple. Exactly. The expression on your face, correct? You need to eat 8 oranges to get the nutrient of that one orange. You need to eat 14 broccolis to get the nutrient of that one broccoli. So you are understanding that, yes, we are eating healthy, but unfortunately, the nutrient depreciation is so much that the food is not able to make it. That's the reason why supplementation helps. So say, for instance, let me give you an example. Like, you're talking about energy. Why do people have low energy? There can be a lot of reasons. It can be somebody's not sleeping very well. Somebody is stressed out and they're losing energy, or they are just low in B vitamins. So eating foods high in B vitamins, plus, taking a B vitamin in a supplement can help you to get more energy. So that's how nutrition works, is we focus first on healthy eating and then look at what is missing so that we can fill in the gap. I definitely don't recommend people just eating supplements like a buffet. I did have a client who used to eat a lot of supplement, but her diet was like hamburgers and fries and all those kind of things. So no, that can work. No junk food. If you are going to eat junk food and think I'm going to take supplement and everything will be all right, I mean, the supplement may help, but not to the extent where it's going to give you good health. So the key is eating healthy. And you know what? Once in a while, you can cheat because we have one life to live. We don't want to feel like deprived. So if you want to eat your ice cream, you can. If you want to eat your chocolate, maybe you choose a dark chocolate as compared to a milk chocolate. You can make good choices and still be able to live a fulfilling life and not feel deprived. So the key is having a good balance, and the balance can be 80-20, 80% healthy, and you can do 20% cheat once in a while.
Fantastic, fantastic. And now coming to the question, you have like a very hands-on live experience that how the two things, nutrition and autism, is connected. So could you enlighten our readers onto that and how changing or tweaking the nutrition can help a person who is in spectrum?
Absolutely. So I have a son, and he was diagnosed with autism around like 8 to 9 years ago. And you know what? I was trying my best as a parent to sort of, see how I can help him, and going back to what I was talking about before, is I took my first package, meals, very healthy. And I was like, I need to make sure that he gets his snack. And I was packing in like, cookies and muffins and cheese strings and all those things that I thought they were healthy. And I would give him juice so that he could actually have. And then I realized after I started working with a nutritionist and with my education, that the biggest thing that we have to change is the sugar that we're giving our children. And the problem is that the food that I'm talking about is a lot of children eat that at school. And that's the reason why we're having a higher incidence of ADHD. Why are children not able to focus? Why are they so hyper? It's because of the sugar that is in the diet. So that's the first thing we have to do. We have to eliminate those sugars from the diet. And we have to remember that in our natural foods, like if you eat protein, if you eat vegetables, if you eat fruit, they all have natural sugars in them already. And imagine after eating that, and you're giving them all this other foods that actually have a lot of sugar in it. So that's the first thing we have to do, is we have to cut out those sugars and go back to natural foods, correct? And then, like, if you go to a birthday party, what are they serving? Pizza, hamburgers, cake, cookies, pop, sugar, sugar, sugar. Again, I don't know if people know, if you drink a can of pop, you know how many spoons of sugar there is? There's 13 spoons of sugar in it. Just imagine, do you ever even go and eat 13 spoons of sugar? You don't. But the fact that it's hidden and you don't realize it, that's what you're drinking, right? So getting rid of those pop has no nutrition value in it. I would even not recommend juice, because the juice, if you really think about it, is concentrated sugar too. And if you want to make like a cup of glass of juice, you need to at least use 7 to 8 oranges to make that glass, correct? But think about it, would you eat 7 to 8 oranges in a go? No, you won't. So when you drink juice, you're just drinking sugar and actually concentrated, and it's going in really fast into your system, correct? So I always say is, instead of having that juice, give them the fruit. Why? The fruit actually has the fiber in it, and fiber is very good for digestion. So what it does, it definitely will give you the fructose from the fruit, but it's slowing down the absorption of that fructose in the body, So the key is cutting out the sugars, and sugar also in processed food. So if anything I say that is in a box, in a packet, they're all processed, correct? So you have to eliminate them. And instead of that, you can incorporate fresh fruits. Like berries are the best because there are lots of antioxidants in them. Fresh vegetables like, carrot sticks, celery sticks, cucumbers, radish, and those are nice and crunchy. They give you a little like crunch, and you can enjoy that. And those can be in the snack. You can give them a little bit of hummus, and they can dip it in that, and they can eat. You can actually give them fruits like apples. They've got a lot of fiber, apples, pears. And another thing for autism is dairy. Dairy has a protein called casein, and that actually also is not good because it is very inflammatory. So you want to eliminate dairy. And the third thing is gluten, because gluten is also not good for them. So those are the three things. If you sort of make some changes in that area, you will start to notice a big difference in how your children are feeling, because a lot of the times these foods also create a lot of digestive issues. I remember my son used to have a lot of like indigestion. He would eat and then he would be really bloated and then burping a lot, and he had to walk a lot to digest his food. It was just uncomfortable. So I changed his diet, I incorporated some supplements, and it sort of really started to help him. So and focusing on the brain function, because autism is a lot about neurological. So if we focus a lot on the brain function, that will be very helpful, because my son used to have short-term memory issues, and I focused a lot on helping him with that, and he was able to do much better. So eating diet high in omega-3 can really be helpful too.
So is this gut health for the people in this, all the children or the people in the spectrum, the autism, is this the gut health is directly related to the brain functioning?
Absolutely. There is, what is the reason why you say gut feeling, correct? There is always something that is happening inside your gut. So there is a nerve called the vagus nerve. It actually connects from the gut to the brain, correct? So that's what they call the gut-brain axis. So there is a direct connection. And I always believe that gut is like the powerhouse or like the engine of your body. If the gut is functioning well, you are a healthy person, because the gut it has lots and lots and lots of bacteria over there. And we want to make sure we have a lot of good bacteria over there, because that's going to help even with losing weight. So it helps with immune function. It actually helps with joint support, with a lot of things, so that your body is healthy. So gut health is very, very important. And I will tell you, a lot of people experience issues with that. And I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I'm getting old, that's the reason why I'm having it. It's got nothing to do with being old. I always say is, our body's like a machine. If you put in the right nutrients, you take care of it, it's going to run for many, many years to come, and if you don't take care of it, you abuse it, and you put the wrong things inside it, it's going to break down. So that's what really is happening, is you need to focus on your gut health. And once by focusing on the gut health, what also happens is the nutrients that you're eating, like you may be eating the really best food, but if it's not absorbing into your body, you're not getting the full benefit of that, correct? So that's what the gut health is also doing, is actually helping you to absorb the nutrients, improve your immune system. So you'll notice is you don't get sick that often. Even people having acne, all those skin issues got to do with the gut. Once you fix the gut, all this gets cleared. Like I used to have a client, she had acne, young girl, and she's had acne her entire life. Gone to lots of dermatologists, put lots of cream on her face, acne still there. And I remember when I met her, it was so bad to the point it's like you can see pus over there, correct? And
Almost
so
like a
I just
blistering.
said, okay, I'm not going to work on this. I'm going to
Yeah.
work from the inside. And just by doing that, within a month, all that acne cleared off. And then it was like helping her from the outside to make sure that all those scars are gone. So people don't realize it. Like even psoriasis, rosacea, all those immune issues, rheumatoid arthritis, it's all from the gut. And if you fix the gut, you'll have good health. So it is very important. So if you are experiencing like constipation, acid reflux, heartburn, bloating, diarrhea, IBS, those kind of issues, you need to focus on it. And one thing I'll mention is constipation. I think people just take it lightly. People think, oh, it's all right if I don't go every day to the washroom. It's not a good thing, because if you're eating every day, what does that mean? Every day you should be eliminating. Whatever's going in should be coming out. If you're not, that food is sitting in your gut, it's fermenting, and it's causing a lot of bad bacteria. So we want to make sure that you're going to the washroom every day. If you're not, over time, you're going to have more other severe issues, correct? So constipation is something that people take lightly, but you should not take it lightly.
We are almost at the end of the conversation. One last question. Beyond nutrition, beyond healthy eating, what are a few very other lifestyle changes can significantly impact a person's overall health and well-being?
Absolutely. So one is water. I think people don't focus on drinking water. I've had lots of people who are like, I'm so busy, I'm in meetings, I don't remember to drink water. Water is very important, because people, if you really look at your body composition, almost 80% of your body is water. Every organ needs water. And the purpose of the water is also for to eliminate toxins when you go to the washroom, correct? So we want to make sure that we are focusing on drinking water, and that is the best drink. So if people are telling me, should I drink juice? I would say drink water. That's natural, and you should be drinking water. And remember, if you are not minimum, you should be drinking 8 glasses of water. Okay, so that's one thing I would say. The second thing is sleep. Now, I see a lot of people who are sleep deprived. I remember I used to take the subway to work, and in the morning, I would see everybody like slumped over, sleeping, or grabbing a cup of coffee or a tea to keep them awake. So what is happening is people are sleeping really late in the night. Then they have to get up in the morning. They are really tired. So that's what is happening. So sleep is very important. Now, what does sleep do? It is a very important function. Sleep, what it's doing is, first of all, it's cleaning up, it's detoxifying your body when you're sleeping. Your immune cells are being generated when you're sleeping. So it's very, very important that we sleep. Now, people may ask, how many hours of sleep? It really depends on your body. Some people can sleep 5 hours and they're fine. Some people need 7 hours. Some people need 8 hours. So it really depends on your body. A good rule of thumb is when you get up in the morning and you're nice and fresh, that means you've had a good sleep. You're not tossing and turning, and you're not getting up too many times in the night. Okay. Third thing is you need to move. Movement is very, very important. Now, I don't mean movement like you have to go to the gym every day. If you can, it's best, because then you can actually do some proper exercise. But movement can be simple as, if you're working in the computer, make sure every hour you take a break, go and take a little walk. Get a little, like, something like a Fitbit. It reminds you, and you go and take that walk, right? And you can do simple things like when you're heating your food, maybe you can do some push-ups, you can do some squats, you can do some planks when you're waiting for the food, correct? So you can incorporate little exercises during the day, and by doing that, you can actually be able to move, correct? And it's good to have a target of like 10,000 steps. If you can walk throughout the day, that'd be great. So for somebody who doesn't do any walking, start with that. I definitely recommend more strength training, because you want to be building more muscle. For weight management, it's really good. You can burn more fat. And simple things like even cleaning your house is good exercise. So it doesn't have to be like, in the gym doing those kind of things. Even simple things like, doing work in the house can be a good form of movement. So I'm just showing you something simple things that you can incorporate, correct? Then I talk about community. Community is very important. There's so much of negativity around us, and that affects our health. And where it helps, it's a gut health. So think about it. When you're nervous, when you are going through a lot of stress, you start to feel digestive issues. It's because of the negative energy around it, correct? So try to have a community that is supportive. I personally don't watch the news, because I find there's nothing nice to hear in the news. So I don't listen to see that. You have to almost like insulate yourself and be around positivity, so that will also help you with your health, correct? Because you think about people who are, and that goes to the next thing, which is stress. Have you noticed that people who are stressed, you'll notice they age much faster, the hair starts to turn white. So again, stress is part of life, but we don't want to have chronic stress. So we definitely want to make sure that we are going to the root cause of the problem, addressing that. And then finally, I would say supplementation. Supplementation is important, but make sure you're taking the ones that can really absorb into your body much better, correct? So talking to your nutritionist is really helpful, because we know a lot about supplements. So that's what I would say. So you can see it's a holistic way of looking at it. It's not one thing. Now you can start to make little changes in each aspect, and you will start to notice a difference in your life.
Fantastic. It was so many insights in the conversation with you, and I had some big paradigm shifts regarding nutrition, regarding what to eat and everything. And going in a nutritionist way is kind of cool and kind of not boring. It's interesting. So thank you very much for that. Hopefully our readers will be immensely benefited from it. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah, you're most welcome. I think the key is just take the step, do something so that your body will thank you for it. And the other thing I want to say is just be open, correct? Because we have grown up with so much of misconception that people become so stuck in the ways. And you know what? The medical system is there, and they are great, and they do a lot of things, but there are certain things that we need to do to sort of help ourselves. So the key is stay open. And you know what? Our body is designed to heal, but we need to just make sure that we're doing the right things to help it to heal. And I'm happy to say at my age, I'm illness-free. So we can all be that way, but we have to take the first step. So the key is do something for yourself.
Yeah, fantastic. That's basically the point that you started with, that nutrition. To talk with a nutritionist, the first thing is education. We have to educate ourselves. So all the misconceptions, all the wrong ideas are gone out from the head, and then we can move into that. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.